In this week's Parashah, when Moshe Rabbeinu comes to Paro to warn him for the 8th Makkah, the Makkah of Arba, locust, the Pasuk tells us, Vayifem vayitz me'em Paro. Moshe Rabbeinu left straight away, he gave him the warning and left. The question is, why by this Makkah did Moshe Rabbeinu just give him the warning and leave straight away? By the other Makkahs, he'll stay around and try and convince him. What was his big rush? Why did he just give the warning and straight away leave? The Shabbos Rabbim tells us the following answer. For the first 7 Makkahs, every time Moshe Rabbeinu came to warn Paro, he thought the reason he wasn't letting the Yidden go is because Paro was just a very stubborn person. So he stayed and he tried to convince and persuade Paro to let the Yidden go, hoping he would break and he'll finally free the Yidden. When Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu to go to warn Paro about the 8th Makkah, the Pasuk says, "Go warn Paro, and I've hardened his heart." Moshe Rabbeinu finally realized that the reason why Paro wasn't letting the Yidden leave wasn't because he was just stubborn. Hashem was hardening his heart. So he knew there was no point in trying to convince him and persuade him to let them go. He did his job. Hashem told him, you have to go to warn Paro, and that's what he did. He warned Paro, and he left. He left it into the hands of Hashem. He knew there was nothing else for him to do besides giving the warning, the job he was told to do, and that was it. And so much so, a few psukim later, Paro finally starts to break. He starts negotiating with Moshe Rabbeinu. He asked him, who do you want to leave? What had changed? Why was it the Makkah of locusts, which scared Paro so much, more than the other Makkahs, that he was willing to negotiate? It's obvious. Up until now, Moshe Rabbeinu was relying on himself, his ability to convince and persuade Paro to let the Yidden leave Mitzrayim. Now, once he had found out from Hashem that Hashem had hardened his heart, he gave up with his shadlus. He was 100% relying on Hashem, and he knew that the only way Paro will start to let Yidden leave Mitzrayim is if Hashem would do so. And that's exactly the reason why by this Makkah, Paro all of a sudden starts to negotiate, and Paro was considering to let the Yidden leave Mitzrayim. I think the message from this is that in our lives, we're always relying on someone, whether it's the doctor, the shadchan, this person to get a certain job. We have to rely 100% on Hashem. And when we do so, we have a much better chance of getting what we want, because we're not relying on anyone else. We're turning to Hashem and trusting Him 100% to get what we need. You should all have an amazing Shabbos.